Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, elderly, geriatrics, and infants, welcome to the His and Hers podcast, episode 6.
Oh, wow.
What's up? Look, we doing this. Apologies. We took a little hiatus, but if you followed me, you know that I was in Texas. I was with my family. It was a great time, and I was just not able to set up and commandeer a space for recording. But I am Jontae Grace, and joining me, I have the illustrious.
Sharell Lewis.
Hey, Sharell. How you doing?
Hey. How you doing? I'm okay. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad to be back in my own space, living in my own mess, and sleeping in my own bed that has my own body print. Like it has like a whole, it's like a whole
Sound
body
like you
print.
need to flip that mattress.
I know. But see, but if I flip it, then I gotta break it in again, and I don't want to do that, So, but you're right. You're absolutely right. But that's been going on. What's been going on with me? So I finally made it back home, and I'm back into my mode. I got some things that I need to start preparing for. I got a professional exam in December that I need to start studying for now. This is for my professional certification. I work in HR, and I am trying to get an HR certification. And so that's what's going to be on my upcoming goal and to-do list. Um, so you'll hear more about that as the future unfolds. But how are you doing? How are things in Tuscaloosa, Alabama?
Uh, Things are going fantastical. I mean, I work at a great institution. Um,
Great.
but I mean, it's good. It's good. It's good. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We're starting our camps and stuff, which means my life is about to go into super duper overdrive.
Right.
In
Yes.
addition to that, we know I'm a business owner, and I finally got the state to approve my name change, which means I'm going to start doing that
What?
here in the near future. I've actually been working on my marketing and stuff for the stuff that I'll be selling, in
Hell yeah.
addition to the services that I provide. So, we're just rocking and rolling,
That's right.
um, a lot of growth going on professionally for me, and I'm finally getting into my groove here in Tuscaloosa. So,
Hmm. That is great to hear. Congratulations on all of that. And I see you got that fresh retwist. So,
yeah.
yeah. Don't it just make you feel like unfuckwittable? Like,
For real.
don't you just feel like,
Like, try me.
oh,
Try
try
me.
me.
Try me.
Uh, uh, oh, it's something
I'm
about
a
the
whole different person.
it
I'm a
is a
whole
whole different
different
person. It's something about the
person.
fresh retwist. They will never ever know
Like,
about it. It's
you can't tell me nothing.
oh,
I'm like
oh
a dude with a fresh haircut.
yes,
Just
yes,
like, yes.
yes.
I mean,
I know it. I know it. For real, for real. So I'm gonna be looking to get mine next because I do not like to wear my hair down. This shit is hot. It is so hot. And when it gets to
yeah.
this length, I mean, it's cool because I do like the length, and I can swing my hair on a bitch. I could be like,
Right.
uh, get off me. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it be hot and it's summertime,
Right.
so I like to keep it braided because it gets it out of my face, and yeah. So, but you're looking good, and I'm glad you are feeling good from the inside out. Because it don't do no good if you're just looking good on the outside, but inside it's full of turmoil, and you got a whole bunch of mess and stuff going on. Like it doesn't really
Right.
matter if you're looking good on the outside. So I'm glad that you are
Right.
feeling good as well.
For sure. For sure.
As always, we did not uh, come up with a concrete thing, but that's part of our ingredients. We want to have a natural conversation. We want it to evolve naturally. We don't want it to be pre-scripted. That may change in the future as we grow and if we start to have segments and topics and different things. Let's say if current events happen and we start actually tackling some of those things. So that may change. But for right now, we just chopping it up. We're just exploring things. We're just letting the conversation naturally go, right? So we were talking a little while ago, and you mentioned the status that I had put up recently, and that status was no one wants to build an empire. Everyone wants to come to an empire that's already been built, and oh, there's so much behind that. I wrote that status because I have felt like all of the prospects that I have had for dates or for potential, relationships and things like that. Oops, sorry. I've been watching shooting videos, and so I was something accidentally playing. But anyway, all of the prospects that I've been having for dating and relationships and things like that, they all they want is it's like they just want to come into a castle and just play the princess. They just want to sit on the throne. Nobody wants to roll up their sleeves and grind it out with somebody and build something organically from the ground up. It's almost like, and I'll venture to say this. I'll put the first blanket statement out there. Women want men to do all the work, and it feels like that's the mood. I'm not saying that that's true of everyone, but it feels like that's the mood, the dominant mood in our culture right now is that most of the women are saying, if you want me, build something worthwhile for me to come to, and then I'll consider it. That's kind of how it feels right now in the culture with all of the popular culture, the rap, the messages, the things that are going on right now. The young Miamis out there, but that's bullshit, because number one, if you get a man like that, let's say you have a man and you get him and he's already got it going on, 9 times out of 10, he's gonna want you to sit in a pre-selected place and stay in that place, and he's gonna be operating the way he was operating before you came into the picture, because he already did the hard work. So he don't want somebody to just come in and just start directing traffic. That's not how that works. You don't get to call shots unless you built that. That's how you get a chance to have some say-so in the program. If you got skin in the game, if you actually help put that man into position, then you will be able to kind of tell that man what to do or provide some directions. But if you're just coming into a situation that's already been built and you're just enjoying the fruits of the labor, you can't. He's not going to give you the control that you're looking for. So that's the first thing. The second thing is he's not going to trust you because you didn't help him get this. So even if you have your own, even if you're coming in with your own stuff, your own money, your own assets, that whole thing, no man is going to want to just combine that until he sees that you help him either get more, or you have to prove yourself valuable to what he has going on. So, you got to solve a problem, or you have to teach him something that he didn't previously know, and then that helps him in some future way. So you have to prove yourself valuable. It's the same way that y'all are saying that, not you. Same thing that women are saying that men need to do, prove themselves valuable. So that goes both ways. So that was the meaning behind that status. But I'm sure that there is a flip side to that coin, because women are, by and large, more successful than men. Black women right now are killing the game. So I would like to hear what you were thinking when you read that status, because as a woman who works at the premier athletic institution, you got it going on right now. I mean, you've always had it going on, but you got it going on right now. What was you thinking when you were reading that?
So when I saw that, my brain uh, looks at things a little bit different, which is cool. Like I
Mm,
think we all do. But like I
yes.
like to look at things like a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. Each relationship we have is a different puzzle
Yes.
because each person is different. So if you're sitting up here saying, I want to walk into something that's already built, but then you say, I want you to treat me like an individual, treat me special, don't treat me like everybody else. If it's already built, like you said, it's prefabricated. So that means you do have to fit a certain mold of something that's already there. Now, that's where we have to talk about what kind of language we're using when we're saying things like this.
Absolutely.
Because to have somebody that's already established within themselves versus somebody that has everything already established is two totally different things.
Mm.
Now, if we're going to go into a relationship, I want you established within yourself. I want me established within myself because if we're not, then that means we're going to be leaning on each other to build up the other
We're
one.
gonna be
And
struggling
that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be coming together with both of our strengths to build something bigger.
for sure.
So it's like, you got half of a double wide, I got half of a double wide. We're gonna pull it together and have a big double wide. You know what I
Right.
mean? But a
have
double
a
wide is still
have
want
a
to make a double
quadruple
wide.
wide. Yeah, we're gonna have a
Right. That's what
quadruple
I'm saying.
wide.
Like, and so, but like from my standpoint, like it as far as the categories that I fall under as a woman, I get men that come in kind of the same way. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I mean, I've told the story about the dude that ghosted me because he found out that I moved back home with my parents. And this same dude was living at home with his mama. But he owned his own business, so he wanted to make sure that I wasn't after blah blah blah. But
Right.
which is cool, and
Right.
I understand that everybody has their preferences,
Right.
and I think nobody digs at preferences. I think what we're saying to people is you have to be consistent within yourself, and this is something that my therapist and I talked about last week actually when we were talking about relationships, and it was, are you the person that you want to be with?
Mm.
And that's what I was thinking about when I saw you put that up there. Like somebody want to come into something already built, but
Mm.
are you already built? Like you want somebody else to put in all the work. That's the same stuff. Like not taking it to a political place, but if we talk about the political stuff, that's the same crap that we got going on politically right now. People that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on got something to say about what's going on. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And that's the issues that I kind of have with people saying like, "Oh, you got to have this and this and this," but I'm sitting over here and I don't have this, this, and this.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
For real.
Like,
A chicken does not equal a goat, because what
right,
we have people who are, for lack of a better word, fine, and they are looking at themselves and saying, "Well, I'm pretty, I'm cute, or if you're a guy, you know what I'm saying, I'm in shape, or I got that curve, you know what I'm saying." And so you're saying, "Well, I deserve somebody who can pay my bills, or who can, put me in the game, get me on my feet." No, 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 no. Just because you have A, B, and C does not mean that you deserve somebody that has X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
no, you have to have some type of look. Everybody has the right to require that if you come into their lives, you don't come in as a tornado. You don't come in with chaos. You don't come in bringing a whole bunch of drama and mess and problems. Everybody has the right to require that, whether you're up or whether you're down. Okay? But if you are not in a place that you can, like you said, are you what you are asking for? You know what I'm saying? If you want somebody who can provide, can you provide? Or if you can't provide, do you know what to do with what what comes with that? Okay? So, what I mean by that is okay, if you ask for somebody who is wealthy, do you know how to do taxes? Do you know something about businesses that can potentially help that person save some money or open up a new line of new revenue stream for that person? Can you benefit that person in some type of way besides just being attractive or being pleasant and funny and pleasing to look at? You know, that's what people need to keep in mind. Being able to cook or clean, being a domestic, that stuff is old. It's a prerequisite now. It's not something that you put at the top of your resume. Oh, I can cook, or I can keep a house, or I can, no, no. That's we're past that. In most places, it requires two incomes to be able to even hope to be comfortable and be able to live comfortably in this country. You know, people look at America as if this is the land of opportunity. No, this is the land of struggle right now. Everybody is struggling just to be able to be comfortable, you know? So, if you can't if you can't pull your own weight, then you should at least be able to help that person pull their weight at the very least. And that's what I mean by coming to an empire that's already built and you just want to just lay up in the castle like the princess and you just want Mario to go out and slay dragons and just come back and bring you mushrooms and flower powers and just all of that back to the house. Like, no, no, we got to get past that. It's about value. What can you bring to somebody's life? And for for a lot of us, we have to get out of this. We got to stop looking at our beauty as an asset. We got to stop looking at our physical as an asset. What is up here that's an asset? What is in here that's an asset? What's in your spirit that's an asset? Can you help that person? Can you help that person get over some demons that they have? Can you help that person expand their mind in some kind of way? It don't always have to be a bottom line, tangible thing. It don't have to always be a dollar sign. But can you help? Can you help that person's life in some form or fashion? Something more than just a fun night in the bedroom, which is what a lot of people are putting at the top of their resume. Or I got it together. I'm fine. I got hips and tips and lips and all of that. No, no, man, come on, like come on. Let's elevate. Let's elevate. And I'm saying that to the brothers as well as the sisters because us brothers, for real, you know, we got this culture of wanting to be able to just like you're as slick as you can convince a woman to do for you. And that stuff is old. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not trying to con and connive our way into a situation no more. Like, man, nah. We gotta get past that. We gotta grow and we gotta evolve. So, I'm counting on us brothers to be able to step our game up as well. So that's what I meant. And that's what that whole message is let's provide some value for each other. Like at the end of the day, we're all we got. So we gotta take care of each other instead of always looking to see what we can get from each other. What can we give to each other? What can we contribute to the collective pool? But I like what you said though. I really did. Are you, how you say that? Are you what you're asking for?
Yeah, like are you like essentially it was are you the person that you want to date?
Right.
And
I
like
think
and
that's
see, and
the,
that's what I was telling her, and this is what I tell a lot of people, especially when I start talking about relationships, is we really have to get away from the status quo of what society tells us a relationship is. Because again, We are all different. We're all snowflakes. And I
Yes.
know that is a controversial term right now, but at the end of the day, the whole point of saying that something is a snowflake is saying that each snowflake is individual and different. And you
Oh,
can't
okay.
treat them all the same way.
Oh,
Each,
okay.
each
I thought
snowflake has
snowflake
a
was.
different, it has a different pattern.
Oh, I thought snowflake was don't be soft, don't be delicate, don't be
That's what
like.
it's become.
Okay.
But at the very root of the saying that they, when they were saying it when we were
Oh,
in elementary school,
yeah.
it was because we were talking about how unique everybody was.
That's
And
right.
that's not a bad thing.
That's
That's a
right.
good
Because when we
thing.
used to cut up snowflakes, it would be like
Right.
we would put them up
Everybody
and
is
everyone would be
different.
different.
Right. So when we go into relationships and stuff, and that's why I'm like, I don't want another boyfriend ever again. I don't want a boyfriend.
Mm.
I want a partner, like literally a partner.
You
We
know,
want
I
to
love
work
that.
together. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Your quarterback can't do nothing without your center. You know what I'm saying? Like, your pitcher can't do nothing without your catcher.
Mm.
We got to work together. And, I'm sorry for the sports analogies, but that's all I got most of the time.
I mean,
You know what I'm
I'm loving
saying?
it. I'm loving it. Like,
But like you need that, and like it's that communication. Like you got your job, I got my job, but when we come together, it's a whole different job.
that's right.
Because if
That's
we're
right.
not both operating in what we need to operate in to come together,
Mm.
then what happens is we got a misplay, we got an interception now, we got a fumble, and that's when
It's
we're
going
not.
the other way.
You know what I'm saying? And that's like, and I think that's what we're not really understanding when we're talking about relationships because right now, I'm going to tell you for me, I feel this weird pressure to have somebody. And it got to the point
Yes.
where
Yes.
it overpowered my actual logical mind. So that's where me and my therapist had that conversation. It was like, wait a minute, why do I want to? It's gotten to the point where I forgot my
Right.
why.
Right.
Why do I
You end
want a
up.
relationship? Why do
You
I
end
want to
up.
get married? It's like it's I I know it's what I want, but why do I want it? And when I figure out my why do I want it, that's how I know how to approach what I want. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
I don't want a relationship to say I have a relationship because then I can go with the first dude that'd be like, "Yo, what's up? Can I get your number?"
Right. You end up in a
And that's not what I
situationship.
want.
You end up in a
Right.
situationship because you're just struggling to just check that box, right?
Right.
But if it's not for you, if it's not genuine, and if it's not natural, and if it's not beneficial, then it's not going to be good for you. So you're absolutely right. I feel that pressure also. I just turned 36 last week, and with that comes the pressure of, well, am I where I want to be? Am I where society says I should be? Am I where my mama says I should be? Damn society. My mama keep asking for grandbabies before she gets too old to be able to play with them. And so, my mama is 67. So, I'm like, damn, I ain't never even been married. I ain't never even been engaged. I have one son, but that was not made, he was not conceived under amicable circumstances, and ever since then it's just been beef with his mom. So that has never been like an in-house family type thing, and we'll get into that on a different subject on a different day. But I want to do it the right way. That's I say all of that to say I want to do it the right way. I want to have my kids and my lady in my home, and I want to go through the day-to-day experience of raising a family, of being a man to a woman. You know what I'm saying? Being her provider and her protector. I want that. I want to do it the right way. But in order to get there, you got to find somebody first. And it's hard to find somebody when everybody is like, real ass bitch, give a fuck about a nigga. You know what I'm saying? And all of this stuff, like where the mindset has become, what can you do for me? Before we even get to, and I'll give you a perfect example. Perfect example. I was trying to date this girl, and this girl she's amazing. She's worth everything that she's asking for. So keep that in mind, okay? She's not no nobody. You know, she's always been this. Ever since I've gone to school with her, she's always been up there, you know, in the hierarchy of school, right? But she come from a good family. Her family got money. She's one of those types of women. Okay. So she finally started giving me some attention, okay? But I don't always have, you know, disposable income. Most of my money gets spent on this. My rent is $1,400 every month. I got a car note. So there's that. And I pay child support. So with all of that going on, at least I do got my own place. At least I do got my own car. At least I am able to come and go as I please. You know what I'm saying? And I do sometimes have a couple extra bucks to be able to spend on myself or on a potential somebody else. So, long story short, I asked her out, and she said, fine, what do you want to do? At that time, I didn't have no money. So, I was thinking in my practical mind, and I said, well, why don't you just come to the house? Why don't you just come over here? I'll get some food. I'll go get a bottle of wine. We can cook. We can put on some music. We can chill. We can talk. We can just vibe, you know, and we can get to know each other a little bit better and find out if we are, you know, compatible, if this is right for each other. I know that that's not flowers and dinner and, you know, top floor dancing and all of that stuff, but that has the potential to be a good night. You know, this girl said, I'm sorry, you're traumatizing me. And I said, what? How? She said, for some reason, all y'all men do is just ask us to come over to your house. Put some effort into what you're asking. Ask me to do something. Ask me to come out, to go out. Put some thought into it, some effort into it. And basically she was saying, take me out. Bitch, I mean, I'm sorry. I meant to say, girl, number one, I would do that if I had the means to do that. But you haven't even asked me you haven't even taken into account what my current circumstances were. You haven't even asked whether I was able to do those things for you. At the time, I wasn't able to do those things. That was not a pay week. But I was able to provide a comfortable atmosphere. My place is nice. My stuff is laid out. You know, when I clean up, this looks like a place that you want to kick your feet up in and relax in, and if all goes well, get your back blown out in. This is the type of place. And I'm that type of guy. So I say all of that to say that she just went completely left on me because I wasn't able to provide her the empire type treatment right off the bat. This is first date. This is not, you know, we're 3 dates in and I'm still asking you to come over to my house. You know, I can see if it was that. This was the first time I'm talking about let's hang out. So look, yes, I get it. On one hand, yeah, you know, guys, we can be kind of lazy on the dating thing as far as asking somebody out. Yeah, come over to my house. And yes, if you just come over and I ain't even cleaned up and I just want to turn the Netflix on and eventually you look over at me and I done whipped it out on you, you know what I'm saying? Yes, that's lazy. Like, come do better. But I wasn't about that. It's just that I wasn't able to do, I mean, y'all gotta realize, dating is expensive, especially if you're dating multiple people. It is expensive. You're at least spending $100 every time out, most likely $200. So add that up multiple times throughout the month. And you very shortly come to a car payment or a mortgage or a rent payment just on dates. So, long story short, I never talked to her again. I mean, we're still cool, we're still friends, but she asked for the empire because she felt like she was worth the empire, which she is, but the empire don't always got disposable income. The empire has to pay rent. The empire has to pay for mortgage. So I thought the fact that I had those things to be able to offer, yeah, I can come pick you up. I got a cool ass car. I got leather guts in there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a nice car that you might want to roll in, that you might want to let your seat back in. And then I got a place that is nice and comfortable that you may want to come to, that you can look out and see the sunset over everything. If my shit is player, you know? But you wouldn't even know all of that because you're thinking that I'm inviting you to some place with a mattress on the floor just so I can come hunch real quick, and that's how you looking at it. So that's an example of somebody wanting to come to an empire that's already built. And I'll step off the soapbox with that one. You have anything else? Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'm sitting here and I'm listening and I'm processing
Okay.
and I'm being as objective as possible because sometimes when we have these kind of conversations, when somebody says y'all or
Right.
you or
Right.
women or men,
Right.
everybody gets
Right.
offended. So here we go.
Okay.
Now, as a black woman on this dating scene,
Mm-hmm.
when a dude asks you for a first date at his place, that is considered a huge red flag.
Absolutely. I can see that. I can see that.
So that's where our big brain has to come into play too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we sit down and we cooperate. I don't like the word compromise because compromise means that each person loses something. But
Mm.
cooperate means everybody gains.
Right.
So you invite me to your place for a first date because of finances, and you explain that to me. Look, times are rough right now, or right now I just don't have a bunch of extra money. I can't do this big extravagant date. What about you come over, we make dinner, da 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 da. Okay, that's when I'm supposed to use my big brain and say, okay, I'm not comfortable coming to your house for our first date.
Mm-hmm.
What if those same groceries we get, we put them together and go out to a park?
Right.
You said you
Right.
have a car, go out to a
Mm-hmm.
park,
Right.
and we have a picnic, and that is a outside date.
Gotcha.
I'm not at your
Gotcha.
house. There's no risk of us because some people really are like,
Pressure to sleep with them.
yes. And even if, and this is coming from my viewpoint over I have a dark history when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Right. Right.
Um,
A lot of women
and
do, unfortunately. A lot of
right,
women
we
do.
do. And so then it's like, even if he's not necessarily outright pressuring you, you feel the pressure. So even if it's just he puts
Yeah.
his hand on your leg, a lot of
Yeah.
women don't feel comfortable saying, "Don't touch me,"
Right. Right.
because at that point you get trapped in your own head. Oh, did I give off a signal he could do this?
Wow. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
spoken
Yeah.
sexually to him before. Like, you get trapped in your own head. So it's at this point it's also a safety thing. It's also a safety thing.
Wow.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. I got one friend. I'm not gonna tell nobody who that friend is for my own safety, but I have one friend that wherever I go, they get my location.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, and that's one precautionary step, but everybody doesn't do that. Some of us,
True.
and and I can't speak for everybody, but sometimes we get kind of ashamed of who we're dating or going out with, and
True.
we don't want
Mm-hmm.
people judging us. We don't want people to know that, oh, you went to this dude's house, didn't you just go to this dude's house a week ago? Da, da, da.
Right. Right.
So then you don't tell people where you are, and
Right.
then
And
it
then you
can be a
read,
safety issue,
and then stuff can happen. I mean, we've all
right?
seen, unfortunately, we've all heard stories of dates, things that started off as dates, ended up with one woman losing her life.
Right.
And yes, ooh,
And
you know,
so, and that's where I say, like, that's where it goes. It always comes back to this thing: communication. Like, if you're like
mm,
honestly, I don't know what you said to her after
right,
all this came out.
because when now that you say that, I didn't. explain my financial situation because I know this girl. This girl comes from money, so she's used to being, taken care of. So I wasn't finna be like, well, I ain't really got it right now, but I still want to see you. So I wasn't saying it like that. And also, to give you a little bit more context, that's why things like, I hate things like first date, because that does put a label which puts an expectation on it. This wasn't, it wasn't like I was asking her on a first date. I was just asking us to meet up and hang out, right? Which is different. A meetup and a hangout is different from a date because it's informal, right? And I did want to eventually get to that point where I'm dating you and I'm trying to impress you and I'm actively thinking of the best activities, the most creative things that I can do, to show you that, I'm interested in you and, that I
That is
value
the
you.
disconnect. That is
Yeah,
the
so we can
disconnect.
connect,
Well,
right?
it's the
I did.
disconnect for all of us. To be honest with you, that really is a disconnect for all of us because men and women approach things differently. Men
Right.
approach things casually and expect it to get serious. What women want, well, some women, is okay. This is the way we see it. If we start out hanging out with you, just hanging out, and we're just chilling, a lot of us have been stuck, and that's all it ever ends up being.
Right.
And once we get to this age, I'll be 37 years old in September. I don't have the time
Right. Right.
for us to just be
To
chilling.
just be
We were
chilling.
doing
Yeah.
that. No, I understand getting to know each other in a casual, comfortable situation, but
Hmm.
at the end of the day, just hanging out at each other's house is, I mean, I can do that with my homegirls. I can do that with my cousins. I, I don't want to do that with you if I'm sitting up here thinking about dating. Now,
Right.
now, if you're like, yo, we just want to chill and hang out, and again, we can go to Barnes and Noble and sit down and just
Right.
talk
Right.
and still not spend money.
If it was about that, I didn't even think about that. And see, now you got me feeling like I need to get back in touch with her and explain myself. Cause like I'm like, oh, I fumbled, nigga, because I was mad at her. I was mad at her. I was like, what gives you the audacity to tell me that I'm traumatizing you
Okay,
by
that was much on her part. That's a bit
she
much on
made
her
it,
part.
but I get it. If you've had a past full of people asking you to come over and trying to just whip it out on you,
But yeah, but traumatized was a big word
and that
to
was yeah, that
utilize
was big.
you.
That I mean, she kind of
Yeah.
like it was like
Yeah,
whoa,
because you asking her is not should not be traumatizing her. She should have said, "I've been traumatized,"
right,
not "You're
right,
traumatizing me."
right,
That's
like.
probably that was the point when you probably got defensive anyway when she said that.
And I just said, I really just said at that point I did explain that I just didn't have the funds. That's why. And I just said, well, I have, I said the same thing that I said to you. I didn't, get mad because I was still trying to, salvage it, but I was trying to drive my point home that, like it's not always like that. I'm not that kind of guy that just got it like that. My money goes towards my standard of living, as most people does, and so, you know, I don't have the luxury of being able to just always just be out and about in the mix. I spend most of my time at home. And that's because I spend most of my money on my home. So, but, points have been made. Points have been made on both sides. And I would like to hear what people think about this. This is going to be, you know, ooh, this is one of those things that, like you said, communication. It has to come down to communication because maybe if I would have been able to explain myself a little bit more, it wouldn't have triggered her that way. Maybe if she would have been able to explain her past a little bit more of what she was going through, because I'm just guessing at this point. She didn't really talk about why that triggered her. Maybe if she explained it a little bit more, I could have explained myself a little bit more, and maybe we could have got past that instead of it ending right there. Because, literally, that was the last time I've talked to her. I mean, we're still connected online, and you know how that goes. But we don't talk no more. And it's like, damn, girl, this could have been this could have been something, you know. So, ugh, I'm no longer mad at her. Now, now I'm mad at me.
You should be. Stop joking. But you
Shit,
know
you
what?
know.
If nobody's ever told you that before, you didn't know.
Right,
You
right,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
And like this is like I said, when my brain works, it just works in a different way. I have a very
Mm-hmm.
scientific based brain. Like
Right, right.
I used to want to be a STEM girl. I was either going to be in healthcare or I was going to be a STEM girl.
Mm,
So
mm-hmm.
like I look at it when we look at like research and stuff like that, we look for correlations, but we also look for causation because those
Right.
are not necessarily the same thing.
Yep, yep.
So it correlates, but that's not necessarily the cause. So when I'm trying to look at, like I said, I like the word cooperate over compromise. So when I look at tackling issues, how can we cooperate on the issue versus how can we compromise on the
Right.
issue?
Mm-hmm.
And so when we look at it that way, that's why I'm like, okay, so let's throw out an alternative. And you
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm raised by a United States Marine, first of all. Contingency plans in my blood.
Contingencies out the yin yang.
So, okay, this
Primary,
way didn't work.
secondary, tertiary.
Right, this way didn't work. Let's move to
Let's
plan
move to this.
Bravo.
Uh
You
huh.
know what I'm saying?
Uh huh.
Like,
Yes.
what can we do? How can we make this work together? But you know
Yeah.
what? That would have helped you in your situation. Do you
It
know
would
how
have.
often
It
that comes
would
back and
have.
bites me in the butt?
Mm.
Because people don't want to cooperate either.
Right. Right.
Like that comes back and bites me in the butt when I'm like, okay, well, why don't we do it this way?
Right.
Oh, see, you doing too much. I'm just trying to,
We
you know,
we're trying to figure
you
it
gotta
out.
do this.
Right.
This way's not gonna work, but this way might work.
Hmm. And if you was
So
real about wanting to make it work, then you would be flexible. You would be fluid enough to pivot with me and let's figure something out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yeah, that's an important takeaway that I think I would like to end it on that one because it ended up being about something totally different than what we started on. We started off on, just empires and people wanting to uh, get things that they haven't earned. But we've really entered this space where we're talking about two different sides of the dating coin. What what do you do when you like somebody and you're not able to give them what they are deserving of, and they 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 read it wrong, and it ends up being a misunderstanding. I mean, that was a bad sum up of it, but that is going to be the dominant question I'm going to try to generate some conversation with in once we post this, because I really want to know what people think about that. Like, who was right in that situation?
mm,
Was it
neither one was right.
right, or was
Neither
nobody
one
right?
of
Were,
you were wrong.
were we both wrong? Were we both right? Were we both not wrong and
And
not
both
right?
not right.
You know,
Yeah.
who knows? If a tree falls in the forest, does somebody hear it?
Well, that goes
Uh,
back to the whole competition thing with dating. The whole right and wrong thing. I hate that too, but that's
yeah,
me.
yeah, for sure. Because there's always gray areas, and I've always specialized in the gray area. So I'm not one of those people who likes to deal in absolutes like that
Hmm.
because things are always subjective. My truth is not your truth, and now we're starting to move into existentialism and all that stuff. So let's end it there. Ooh, this was a great conversation, and I'm excited to hear what people think about this. Um, Man, this was great. Do you have any last words?
Uh, nah, y'all just, in this dating world, just make sure you're doing it the way you need it to be done for you.
Right, right. Be careful and make sure that your needs are met, but also,
Be
try to see things
considerate.
from the other side,
Be
try to see
considerate.
things from the other side, for sure.
Empathetic. Absolutely.
Well, with that being
Absolutely.
said, we thank you all for joining us. Please like, subscribe, please comment and let us know what you think. we really, really would like to know, and we would like to involve you in this conversation because this type of thing can help you, and you possibly have had an experience with this, and we'd like to hear what it was. So, we thank you. This has been the His and Hers podcast, episode 6. Have a good night.
See y'all later.
Sad.